crisp autumn morning. In the old cobblestone village, soft sunlight settled on the window of Flint's small house. Inside, Flint yawned and stretched sluggishly, his eyes drifting lazily toward the yard, blanketed in fallen golden leaves. In those eyes, there was only tiredness, slowness, and that all-too-familiar frightening sense of procrastination. Flint sank into his soft armchair. On the wall beside him hung a to-do list, a list that had been there for ages, untouched. The wrinkled corner of the paper looked almost like it was mocking his laziness. While Flint sat motionless, the world outside was entirely different. Hazel ran across her yard, carrying a large bundle of firewood, her smile shining like early autumn sun. Other villagers were busy too. Someone repairing a roof, someone gathering the last fruits of the season. The whole village pulsed with diligence and life. Amid that scene, on a bench beside the fountain, Eldrin, the old man with gentle, wise eyes, watched quietly. He followed the movements of each hard-working villager. Then his gaze settled on Flint's house. Seeing Flint lazing as usual, Eldrin smiled softly, a knowing smile, tinged with a deep, unspoken worry, as if he already understood that unless Flint changed soon, this winter would be harsher than any before. Until one day, Flint stood in the village square, just as the final autumn leaf began to fall. It drifted lightly through the air and landed on the ground. A sudden cold wind swept past, making Flint shiver. Winter was very near. When he returned home, Flint opened his food storage and froze. It was nearly empty. Only a few sad crumbs remained. Panicked, he paced the room, running his hands through his hair in despair. Through the window, he saw Hazel's house, her storage full and neatly arranged. A heavy wave of regret crashed over him, weighing his shoulders down. He curled up in the middle of the silent room, looking small and lost. A cold draft slipped through the door, making him tremble. And for the first time in his life, he was truly afraid. In that icy moment, Flint finally understood something. Something he feared had come too late. No one could save him, except himself. When Eldrin knocked on the door, Flint was so ashamed he couldn't meet his eyes. But Eldrin didn't scold him. Instead, he placed a small basket in Flint's hands and spoke softly like the autumn breeze. Just fill this basket a little each day. That's all. Flint looked down at the empty basket. So small, yet it felt like his first real chance. In Eldrin's eyes, Flint saw something he'd lost long ago: belief. And for the first time in many seasons, Flint took a deep breath and stepped outside to begin again. The first days were difficult. Flint picked berries, gathered sticks, each movement heavy, as if winter itself weighed on his shoulders. But then, something strange began to happen. When Hazel smiled encouragingly, when Eldrin watched from afar with quiet pride, when Flint dropped those first drops of effort into his little basket, he felt something new. I can. Bit by bit, the once empty room began to feel warm again. Flint's storage wasn't huge, but it grew. And so did his heart. Because every item inside was proof that a little effort each day changes everything. And when Flint swung his axe and split his first log cleanly, the smile on his face said it all. The lazy boy he once was no longer existed. Then winter came. Wind howled. Snow swallowed rooftops. But Flint no longer trembled in fear. Inside his little home, His fire burned bright, fed by months of steady, quiet perseverance. When Hazel and Eldrin struggled outside, Flint didn't hesitate. He gathered his firewood and stepped into the raging blizzard, with a heart stronger than ever before. After the storm, the villagers gathered, and Flint realized he hadn't just secured his own winter. He had warmed the people around him too. And on the first morning of spring, Flint was the first to step into the village square, carrying that familiar little basket, not out of fear anymore, but because he had discovered his purpose. Just one small step, repeated every day, and an entire life can change. If this story has touched your heart, don't let the journey end here. Come back and listen to the stories in this collection again and again. Let each message gently sink into your subconscious, becoming a part of you, guiding you toward bigger dreams and small, steady steps every day. And if you believe in growth, hope, and the power to change your life, hit like, share, and subscribe. Your small action today could spread inspiration to thousands of others, people who are also searching for light and motivation to bring their dreams to life. This is Daily Wisdom Stories, where small stories plant seeds of inner awakening. See you in the next chapters of this journey.